Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation, which I have signed copies available on my website, ElliotOracle.com, and also the upcoming Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart. It is time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals, and I asked you to use your intuition and ask yourself which animal is calling to you, because that animal has your message. And the 3 animals were the wolf, the eagle, and also the goat. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal is calling to you, because that animal has your message. For those of you who picked the wolf, the card says intelligence, instinct, and protection. And the wolf is the teacher. It works in a pack. It shows the younger wolves what to do. And so if you're attracted to wolf this next week, this could be a time when you're working well with others. It could also be a time when you're called upon to teach in some way, or to be an example or a leader in some capacity. First card for wolf is where it's best to place your focus this next week. And we actually get the 3 of Swords. And whenever I see the 3 of Swords, it really indicates that this is going to be a time where you want to clear your heart. You're going to be going through some sort of healing. The 3 of Swords shows the heart that would be floating above the clouds and rejoining the sunlight, but there's these 3 heavy swords in it, and it's weighing it beneath the clouds. And so there is this sense that in order for the heart to ascend once more, it needs to let go of the swords. And the swords are different for everybody, but they usually represent old wounds or damaging thoughts that might be keeping you in a low state right now. And it's important that you're taking these swords out of the heart and releasing them. However, swords are also symbols for power, so sometimes the heart wants to hang on to the sword, even if it's causing it pain. Maybe the heart wants to carry a thought, even though it's causing it pain, in order to be more powerful or prepared or ready for the next time it could potentially get hurt. And yet the message of the 3 of Swords is to let go of the very things that are bogging you down. So this is going to be a time to really do some emotional work. And also the rainstorm, the raindrops could indicate tears or releasing some sort of toxic emotion. Second, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which represents the advice from your inner wisdom. And the Queen of Pentacles is reassuring you. She's in her garden. It's not quite in full bloom yet. And she's focused on the work she needs to do. Next to the 3 of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles could indicate that this is a time for self-work. Could also be a time for projects. And it's also a time to act towards your best goal, even if your anxiety, the little rabbit that's in the bottom corner of the card in the garden, even if your anxiety is getting in the way of releasing some of these challenging things. So the Queen of Pentacles is really telling you to keep an eye on the long game and to stay focused on your long-term goals, and also to be patient with yourself during this important healing process. And don't give your anxiety the soapbox this next week. It's important that you're really just focusing on what's practical or reasonable. And then the mythic archetype that is actually going to help you this next week is Faina. She is the goddess of wisdom and war and strategy. She's got the owl near her, and the owl can see through the dark. Faina might be just coming up to you to indicate that there is wisdom in healing and releasing. She's also telling you the wisdom of the big picture, looking at the long game, not getting maybe frustrated or upset with the progress that you're seeing in front of you right now, or, also just not really getting too bogged down in the emotional realm. Faina kind of rises above it. She looks at things from an objective standpoint. So this could be a time where you're really self-assessing. You might be delving into your emotions and healing some of them, but it's also time to come up for air and to really align with the most positive aspects of that element of air, not its most destructive components. And next we got the Eagle card. The Eagle card says clarity, inspiration, and insight. So if you're attracted to Eagle this next week, it could be a time when you're seeking clarity. You might be circling above your life from high above and really trying to put it in proper perspective. But eagle is also a sacred bird. It's usually associated in a lot of cultures with spirit. So this could be a time where you're really allowing spirit to choose your moves for you. First card for Eagle is where it's best to place your focus this next week, and we get the Page of Wands. And whenever I see this card, I just think of the word talent. And so there's a sense that there's something growing in your own talents if you're attracted to Eagle. You might also be ascending to new heights. The Page of Wands is always looking up. And you can see that he's holding the wand in front of him. That's like a staff. It's almost like a measuring rod. It's like he hasn't quite grown into it completely yet. And yet he's optimistic, he's positive, he's happy with the progress he's already made. So this could be a time where you're also a work in progress. It could also tell you to look up. And even metaphorically speaking, the action of the Page of Wands looking upward is like turning to spirit. It's turning to heaven. It's turning to the angels or your higher power to help you overcome the challenges, especially with your own personal growth. The Page of Wands is humble, but he's also a risk taker. He's also confident when he needs to be. So this is going to be a time to throw your hat in the ring. Second, we got the advice from your inner wisdom. If you picked the eagle, and we get the hermit, who is such a wise archetype in the tarot. The hermit is led by the lantern, which illuminates starlight. And you can see the star in the lantern there. And stars, again, much like the eagle, represent transcendence, looking at something from above, looking at something from on high. And the hermit is going through the dark. He only has the lantern to present him with what the next steps are to take. And that's all he needs to know. The hermit's reminding you that the pathway in front of you may look dark. It may look like you do not have all the answers at this time. But your inner wisdom, your spirit, that starlight is going to guide your next steps. And all you need to do is take the steps that you see in front of you right now, and you will come out the cavern on the other side. And then the mythic archetype that could be helping you with this is Eurynomé. She's the creation goddess in the old Greek myths. And she indicates sort of the sense that you're giving birth to something. She lays the universal egg. And so Eurynomé could just indicate that something important is gestating. It's becoming born. It might also be a time where you're incubating something, but it is going to be marvelous when you finally do release it. And right now you just have to trust the steps that the inner starlight are showing you. And then finally, we have the goat card, and the goat says persistence, discipline, and stability. So if you're attracted to the goat, this could just be a time where you are being persistent or stubborn. You might also really lay into your work ethic and just plug ahead and get something going. First card for goat is where it's best to place your focus. And we actually get the Four of Wands, which is a card of celebrating your rites of passage. All too often, we accomplish something in our lives or do something well or work really hard to achieve something, and we get it, and we're not even celebrating it. We're right on to the next goal. And so if you're attracted to goat, this could be a time where you're slowing down a little bit on the work ethic that might be driving you forward, and instead you're celebrating some of the successes that you're already beginning to enjoy. The Four of Wands is also just a card of socializing, connecting, and lightening up in general. So this could be that time, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, the final weeks of summer, where you're really enjoying them, where you're really just allowing yourself to savor the moment instead of being in this driven, focused direction toward whatever your goal is. Advice from your inner wisdom, if you pick the goat, is actually the Ten of Cups. Again, another card of happy endings. You can see dancing happening in both of these cards, celebration. The Ten of Cups is showing the happy couple and the two kids dancing, and there's a rainbow in the sky. And we have one archway here with the garlands, and we have one archway here with that rainbow. And the rainbow is indicating that there's something important that is culminating. You're out of the storm. There's a message of hope for you, and you need to follow that. The Ten of Cups is a card of happy endings, and so is the Four of Wands. So this could just be a time for goat where there's something important to celebrate coming. And then finally, we have the mythic archetype that is going to help you if you pick the goat, and we get Tyche. She's the goddess of fortune, and in Roman times, her name was Fortuna. And Tyche could just be indicating you're really lucky. It might be time to really acknowledge your luck, acknowledge your blessings. Things are going your way. And so this could be just a marvelous time where you're really grateful and appreciative for some of these things that have finally culminated for you. Tyche just represents strokes of luck, things that happen like out of nowhere. It's just random. It's not because you were good or bad. It just is. But yet there's good fortune that will be smiling on you. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always check me out at elliotoracle.com and schedule a one-on-one reading with me there. Otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and happy week, and I will see you again next time. And don't forget to register for Tarotpalooza. It's coming up this October. I'm going to be joining some other tarot teachers, and I'm so excited to present. So take care.